Welcome to day two of the Personal Improvement and Motivation Partnership Workshop. I am your host, Ines, and I am excited to tell you more about the 16-week challenge and how it's going to transform every area of your life. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. This 16-week challenge requires you to be, all right, so this is how you start transforming yourself. It requires you to be brave, intentional, thankful, consistent, hopeful, enthusiastic, and smart. It requires you to be basically bitches. You got to be bitches. Brave, intentional, thankful, consistent, hopeful, enthusiastic, and smart. And so if you're going to become yourself, become the best next version of yourself, you have to get outside of your current comfortable area. You have to get into your growth zone. And that requires you to be brave because you can't grow if you're comfortable. You don't become the best next self, the best next version of yourself by sitting in the same routine without making any changes and expecting your goals to come to you. So you have to bravely accept the challenge to become the best next version of yourself. You have to be intentional about each action you do. You have to be intentional about the thoughts you think, the foods you eat, what you consume as far as media, like what you're watching on social media, what you're watching on TV, Netflix, whatever it is, what you're listening to. You have to be intentional to make sure you're not putting in anything negative because if you listen to negativity, you're going to speak negativity. But if you listen to positivity, I bet you can guess how I'll finish that sentence, huh? So I want you to also be thankful, not to me. This challenge isn't about me. That's why I love doing it because it's something that allows me to help you embrace the best next version of yourself. So I want you to be thankful to yourself and thankful to God for being with you on this challenge. Like you have to be committed on a day to day basis because, yes, I'm your pimp and I'm committed to your success almost as much as you. That's the main difference. I'm committed almost as much as you are to your success. And if I'm committed to your success more than you, you're not going to get it done. But if I'm committed almost as much, that means I'm going to hold you accountable as your personal improvement motivation partner. That's my job to hold you accountable. But I'm going to hold you to a higher standard than anyone in your family, anyone in your friends group, because I believe in you. And that's why I believe that you have to be thankful for every aspect of the journey. It's going to be ugly at times. You're going to feel like quitting sometimes. You're going to feel like not doing it sometimes. So waking up and still getting it done, those are the days that you have to be extremely thankful to yourself and the idea that you want to get it done on the days that you can't necessarily get the energy to do it. You got to be thankful to God for at least having those positive thoughts. I don't want you to beat yourself up if you cannot do it on a specific day for whatever reason. Maybe you don't feel like it, maybe you don't have time to, whatever it may be. But you do have to be consistent. You have to be consistent in the fact that you are going to show up and show out every single opportunity you get. You don't get better by being mediocre. You get better by being better. You get better by continuously practicing to become better. So I want you to be consistent, but not only that, be hopeful. Be like, yes, I'm going to make this shot. So basketball players in the NBA, they right now it's the playoffs. So basketball players in the NBA show up to the playoffs in hopes of getting that championship ring and the notoriety of being number one for the season. But they started practicing long before the lights were on them. They started practicing when there was no one else showing up for their games. They started practicing when even their family members didn't show up for the games. So I want you to be consistent enough to to get to your championship. I want you to be hopeful enough to know that other people will see the results, but it doesn't matter what if they see the results or not. You don't need their validation. You need your own validation. And if you're consistent, you'll be thankful to yourself. You'll be hopeful to yourself. You'll be intentional when you talk about yourself. You'll be brave when you discuss who you are and what you can do. You'll be enthusiastic about achieving your goals because every day you wake up, you are an ambitious bitch. You're going to be able to be enthusiastic when you say, you know what? I don't feel like doing this today, but I know for a fact I can put in 110% tomorrow. Or even if you don't feel like doing the whole 100% today, just getting into your workout and doing half is better than doing nothing at all. Getting into your gift and your if for me it's specifically writing or other forms of communication. And so if I just practice halfway, it's better than not practicing at all. Yes, we're not going to be mediocre, but being enthusiastic of at least I did halfway, at least I did 50% of effort, at least I showed up today and being enthusiastic that it's going to pay off even if you don't give it 100% energy every single day. And you have to absolutely be smart. I don't mess with stupid people because stupid people get stupid results. I'm not a stupid person, so I don't have time for stupidity. But I want every single one of my PIMPs to be smart in every decision they make. If they are working on financial goals, maybe they want to go out of the country. Maybe they want to be financially free so that they can have a gap year to do whatever it is that they want to do. Whatever it is, they have to be smart about how they spend their money. So maybe it's not eating out every single week. Maybe they meal prepping. Maybe they just go to the grocery store and make food for what they need in that day or whatever it is that they need to do. Not just about being financially smart, but being smart in their decisions of, all right, well, maybe I need to do blank so that I can still achieve blank goal. It's about being smart. Your decisions are what makes you smart. People won't remember the good decisions and the bad decisions. They'll remember all of your essence of who you are. So if you make a bad decision or a stupid decision, but you're a kind person, they'll remember that at least you were kind if you were rude or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they think. What matters is, I made the best decision for me at that point of time in my life, given the information I had when I was in that situation. So I want you to be bitches. So welcome to the Ambitious Bitches Club. Out. So this video right here, I took I want to say I was like 21, maybe 22, I don't know. But when I was younger, a movie came out called The Cheetah Girls 2, and they were in Barcelona, Spain, and it made me want to go to Spain. Before I even knew much about Spain, I just knew I wanted to go to Barcelona. I wanted to go to Spain because why not? If they could go on TV, it would be really cool if I could go see this place in person and strut like I mean it and free my mind. So if you don't know, go watch that movie. It's on Disney Plus probably. So, anyways, this picture, video, whatever we're gonna call it, it is my first day in Spain. Well, not my first official day in Spain, but my first day in my study abroad area. And so while I was here, it completely transformed my mind because for such a long time, my biggest goal was getting out of my parents' house and then also visiting Spain. I didn't know exactly why I wanted to go to Spain, but it was calling me. And some of you have something that's calling you to it, but you don't know exactly why you're being called to it. Sometimes you just got to go so you can experience what it is that you experience while you're there. So while I was in Spain, it transformed my mind into saying, wow, I accomplished my biggest life dream. So what do I do now? Dream bigger. That's the answer. What do I do now? I dream bigger. And so now I help other people to dream bigger because Spain was big for me. I never knew anyone who left the country. I never knew anyone who, especially not just left the country, like besides Mexico. I never met anyone who went all the way to Europe. Europe was a place that was in a textbook for me. So for me to get on a plane for 9.5 hours and get to Madrid and live in Madrid and then go here to where I was staying in Cadiz at in southern Spain, I was able to like become the model that I wish I had growing up. So implore you to try this. I implore you to dream bigger. Okay. So for the 16-week challenge, you have four options. You pick the one that's best for you, your mindset, and your current schedule. I don't want you to take on one of the options that's too much at one time for you if you don't have time to work on everything. If you're a bite by bite person, we have that for you. If you are, I can handle big stuff at one time person, we got that option for you. But I want to make sure I give you the right option. So let me go ahead and explain them. We have the bi-weekly option. This one is separated into odd and even weeks. So I'll explain that a little more shortly. We have the weekly focus. As it states, you focus on something weekly. We have the 4-week commitments. And finally, we have the 100-day checklist. So 16 times 7, as we already stated, is 112 days. And so with it being 112 days, all you have to do to pass this course is is to make progress for 100 out of 112 days. And that is all of these challenges are requiring 100 days to pass it. So in order to get an A for this course, you have to do 100 days. And that requires you to be brave, intentional, thankful, consistent, hopeful, enthusiastic, and smart. So that requires you to be bitches. And for all of these, to get 100 days of consistency, you have to be bitches. That's just being honest. Okay. So bi-weekly, weekly focus, 4-week commitments, and 100-day checklist. Let's go to bi-weekly. So bi-weekly which is separated into odd and even weeks. So with your PIMP, and for some of you, that's me personally. For some of you, that's going to be someone on the team. But with your PIMP, you're going to define your big picture. What are your big picture goals? That's your 5 and 10-year plan. And what are those goals that seem unachievable to other people because they can't see the vision that's in your head? And what are your short term, medium term, and long term goals? It's not necessarily medium term, but what are your non long term goals and short term goals is basically summarized into medium term. So categorize your areas of focus and put them into weeks. So our textbook, it lists the 14 areas of focus. And with these 14 areas of focus that we discussed on day one of this workshop, you put them into weeks. You take 7 of them and you put them into your odd week, and 7 of the other ones and put them into your even weeks. You choose which 7 goes where with your PIP so that you can make a strategic routine that is going to be sustainable long term. And with you picking this week and that week as even and odd, it helps it break down so that you don't feel as overwhelmed and you can focus on one thing a day, one specific category a day. That doesn't mean that's the only thing you're doing that day. It just means that you are working consistently on something every single day. So this one, you cycle your goals. Each cycle, you focus on goals, a specific goal for each area of focus. So the areas of focus, there are 14, as we stated on day one, which is your soul, mind, body, gifts, finances, self-care, partnerdom, child, home, homestead, work, academics, finances, and FRAM, and miscellaneous. So those are those 14 areas of focus, but you make a specific goal for each one to be accomplished in that weekly period or that bi-weekly period. So on your odd week, let's say you have the first 7 of them, and you make a specific goal to get accomplished every day for each one of those goals. So let's say you have finance goals. So on this day, I want to make sure that I get my bill calendar together, as we discussed on day one, how to do that. On this day, I'm focusing on my body, making sure I define what is going to be my consistent routine that I can stick to. So, and lastly, you're going to consistently for this biweekly odd and even option, you're going to consistently get shit done. That means every day you're focusing on something, every day you're showing up, every day you're going to do something. Okay? Because you got 112 days for this challenge. That seems like a lot, but it's not. But you only get 12 days to miss. 12 cheat days out of 112 days. You only get X amount, like this little error, this little margin of error that you can not get something done. So if we're speaking overall, you're going to consistently get shit done. And we'll talk about tracking it later. So our weekly focus, let me get some water. I love my water. Here I am. I'm almost done. I'm less than 16 ounces now. After this, I have 20 more ounces. So I'm less than 36 ounces now for today, left to drink for today. So weekly focus. So those 14 areas that I just mentioned and we went into detail about yet on day one, we will me, your pimp, or you and your pimp will reorder those areas of focus based on which ones are most important to you. You're going to focus on 3 big goals for the challenge and your short-term goals, which are 18 months or less, and 18 or more weeks. I mean, 18 or more months. And so the 3 big goals that you're going to focus on are the goal you're going to focus on for the specific area of focus during the challenge, the goal you're going to focus on short term between the 18 months or less, and the goals you're going to focus on long term. So these areas of focus are broken down into 3 goals for each area of focus. So let's say we call out PIMP. So our friends and family, that is our challenge. Maybe our challenge is to set up a birthday calendar so you have everyone's birthday written down in your phone or your notes, or like just go on Facebook. Who do you talk to the most? Who are you related to? Who do you care about? And making a call list so you can call them consistently, or whatever your goals may be specifically for that category. You're going to make 3 goals. One of them's going to be super long term. One of them is going to be medium term, as I said, 18 months or less, but not including this challenge. And then the other one is going to be focusing on this goal for this challenge. So each week, you'll have 3 things for the weekly focus that you're going to focus on for each category. So with this 16-week challenge and it being 14 weeks of areas of focus, you get to decide how you want to split that up. Maybe you want to do this amount and you want to take a break, or you want to do it straight through and then use the last whatever 2 weeks, 12 days, however it divides itself, using that to make up time. So those 3 things that need to get accomplished for whatever goals you have, you will work on your PIMP with those to come up with your strategic plan. Okay, so the next option, you can do a 4-week commitment, which is every 28 days, you focus on creating new habits. They say it takes 21 or 28 days to make a new habit. And this is important for us because we're focusing on transformation. So focusing on transformation allows us to create new habits consistently. So every 28 days gives you the opportunity to make new habits. So next Monday, we start your challenge. And we always start on a Monday because it gives you the weekend to relax. I was gonna say fuck off, but that just didn't seem like the right kind of word to use for this situation. But yeah, this it gives you some margin of error beforehand. So if you want to say, all right, well, I'm gonna stop eating X kind of thing, like I'm going to stop eating pasta and white bread or whatever it is, then on Saturday and Sunday, that gives you 2 last days to get it out of your system, because Monday, when you wake up, it's time to get to business. Everybody usually hates Mondays. Not everybody, but a lot of people dislike Mondays. I absolutely love Mondays. I'm a Monday person. I am. People don't like mornings either. I'm a morning person. I told you I wake up happy. I love Monday morning, especially if it's raining. And people don't like the rain. I'm just, I guess, a unique individual. I'm not going to call myself weird, because I love me and I want you to love you and every aspect of you. That's what this ultimate 16-week transformation challenge is for anyway. It's so that you can fall more in love with yourself. Because at the end of the day, we have enough people who hate themselves. We have enough people who hate other people. It's about time we have more people who love themselves boldly. Okay. So, this 4-week commitment option gives you the opportunity to take 4 weeks to commit to 7 specific areas of focus that we went over on day one of this workshop. And then the next 4 weeks, you're going to focus on the second 7 of these areas of focus, and building both of these into routine. So on Mondays, I may do blank. On I don't clean my bathroom on any other day than a Thursday usually. Unless something happens and I can't do it on that Thursday, I clean bathrooms on my bathroom at home on Thursday. Why? Because I feel like a Monday is too good to clean a toilet. I feel like a Friday is way too good to clean a toilet. And I don't want to spend my Saturday or Sunday cleaning the toilet. Hump day is not for toilet cleaning for me. Tuesday is too early in the week for me to be worried about a toilet. So Thursdays are the days I clean my bathroom. And so I did this when I started working on developing that schedule for taking care of my house. So when I got to the week, I did the week by week focus first, and then I started doing the 4-week commitments. Then I started doing the 100-day challenges, and then I started doing the areas of focus. So with this option, you have the opportunity to make a schedule for 7 areas of focus for your week. If you work for a specific job that does not allow you a specific time off, where your schedule depends on when they schedule you to work, that's absolutely fine. Instead of making it at this specific time, I have to complete this, what you do is you make a checklist so that each week you complete these tasks. Each week you complete the same task until it becomes a habit. And then after those are habits, you go to the second cycle, which is going to be focusing on those other 7 areas of focus and turning those into habits. And then after those two, the 28 days first, and then the second 28 days, those 2 cycles, you're going to go into 2 more cycles, but you're going into 2 more cycles, not where you focus on each one individually. It's where you take them together and consistently work on every category and finding a way to make the areas of focus work for you. Because at the end of the day, if it's not going to be sustainable, that's the purpose of this challenge, is to create a sustainable routine. So at the end of the day, if it's not going to be sustainable, we need to figure something out. And that's when you reach out to your pimp and say, this is not working for me. Let's figure out how we can troubleshoot this so that I can still meet my goals for this challenge. So I check in with you, or your pimp checks in with you, and then you also check in with your pimp. This is the person you call when you feel like giving up. So if it's stressing you out to be working on 7 areas of focus for a whole month, then maybe we need to switch the kind of strategy, the option that you're using. Okay. So the last category is a 100-day checklist. With your pimp, you make a list of things that have to get accomplished in the 16 weeks. I love this because this is a brain dump for each area of focus. So you take all the areas from the book and you write down like what I like to do when I'm making my personal one is I write down everything that fits under each category that I want to focus on. I go onto a Word document or even a document from Google, so Google Docs, and I make a list. So I'll do the little bullet point for each category. So it'll be 14 bullet points. And then under each one, I'll tab it over so that I can list everything that I need to work on for this category, everything that I need to work on for this category, everything for this and this category. So these 100-day checklists, you start keeping track of everything that you've done. And then you're like, all right, even though I might not see the results that I specifically want and desire, I may see that I've checked out 57 things. I checked off these 68 things, and then like you get to visually see your progress on paper before you may see it in real life. So I like doing the different options, and I wanted to serve these options to you so that you can choose the best one that will be sustainable for you. And if it's not sustainable, like if we started and we're like 2 or 3 days in and you're feeling overwhelmed, this is when you reach out to your PIP. You're 10 days in, reach out to your PIMP if you need to, because when you speak up about needing help, then you'll realize you're not alone. You have support. You can get help. And so that is why I'm here. That's why your PIMP is here, so that you can definitely become the best next version of yourself. So now that I've gone over the four different areas of, the four different options, let's talk about the rules for next week, because next week is week one, baby. So the first thing about this challenge I want to remind you is it's a secret. Don't tell your friends, don't tell your mama, don't tell your daddy, don't tell your cousins, don't tell none of this. Is a secret mission you are on for yourself. Okay? We're on a mission. So, and finding that this is a secret, it makes it more fun. Because when someone says, "Oh, I noticed that lately you've been different. You've been nicer. Lately you've been smiling more. Lately you've been looking good." Like they're gonna point this out to you, and you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah." Like you're gonna brush it off in that moment, but then you're gonna be like, "Hey, they seen progress for me." Like, so the people around you will see the progress. But it says it takes there's a saying that changed my life. It said it takes 4 weeks for you to change your mindset. It takes 8 weeks for you to see results, and it takes 12 weeks for others to notice. So this is a 16-week challenge. So if it takes 12 weeks, they're going to see it probably close to the end of the last month of the challenge, the last 4 weeks of the challenge. And that's absolutely fine, because by that point, you've already established new habits. By that point, your mind has already worked on beginning the transformation process. By that point, you've already worked on becoming bitches. And if you are in this ambitious bitches club, you are a part of our community. So you might be in the Facebook groups, the groups on my website, in the community. You might be in whatever group that we have for us to talk to each other and be each other's support system. So if you say, oh, today I just didn't make it to the gym, or today I just didn't have it, you have a support team. We don't care about your personal goals because we're focused on ours. So you can feel like they're going to judge me, but that's going to be you thinking that. And then each person ends up thinking that, but then when they realize they don't really care about me messing up as much as I care, then you stop beating yourself up. That's the purpose. I want you to stop beating yourself up. That's why this is a secret. So you don't tell someone else and then they start telling you, "Oh, I thought you said you was going to stop doing blank, or you said you was going to start doing this." And if you decide to say, all right, I'm gonna keep this one to myself, then the only person who can check up on you besides your PIMP is you. And if you check up on yourself and you feel like you have a reason to beat yourself up, don't. Okay? That defeats the purpose of this transformation. We're changing our minds, managing our time, and overcoming trauma if we have that as an issue. So next week, the rules are on the screen. It's a secret. Don't be telling everybody your business. This is your personal development journey. This is your personal improvement journey. So while you are improving yourself, just focus on you. You know how they say, I'm going to do me. Do me. All right. That's what you need to wake up and decide every day. Wake up and decide to do you, okay? Do you, boo, do you. So when you wake up, I want you to wake up 30 minutes earlier. I know that sounds like, oh my gosh, why would you do that? I started to say wake up an hour earlier. So let's just settle for 30 minutes right now. Okay. Because if you wake up 30 minutes earlier, it leaves you enough time to get that workout in that you always say, I don't have time for. It give you 30 minutes to say, oh, well, I got time to pray now. I got time to write. I got time to sing, develop my skills, take an extra shower. I got time. That's what this extra 30 minutes is for. It's for you to make time for yourself. That means you need to set a bedtime that allows you to get enough sleep. Me personally, I don't sleep 8 hours at night. My body just doesn't function that way. At around 6 hours, I always wake up. But then I noticed, and this is where the self awareness comes into play. I noticed that I perform better if I sleep for 6 hours and then have a scheduled nap throughout the day. I schedule naps consistently. Unless I wake up late, I have a nap scheduled for the day generally. There is very rare that I don't have a nap scheduled. And if I don't schedule a nap and I slept only my 6 hours, a nap ends up taking me anyway. So I might as well have one scheduled so I can plan around it. So, all right, before I get to my nap, I need to accomplish this, and this. And then after my nap, I have a game plan to accomplish this, and this before I start doing my bedtime routine and then starting the process over. You gotta get used to charging them fit watches now. Okay, so if you don't use your fitness watch, it's about time for you to get used to charging it. Okay, and if I'm your pimp, or if your pimp has an Apple Watch, or even if you both have Fitbits, whatever it is, build your little group so that you can share your results together, so you can compete with each other. Not necessarily compete with each other, but we can see your progress. So if you are on my fit group on the watch, if you're one of my friends on the watch and you complete a workout, it tells me why. Because it wants me to be in competition with you? Absolutely not. It just wants me to cheer you on. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, hey, I see you did it. I see you did your 30-minute workout today, even if it was just walking. Maybe you got a dog and you got to go walk the dog. Cut the watch on for that. Count those steps. The goal is to get 8 to 10,000 steps, because that's what the American Heart Association says is good for you, so that you can not necessarily need heart heart surgery or anything when you get older. So let's start small, and instead of us focusing on getting those 8,000 or 10,000 steps a day, let's focus on getting up and moving often, daily. Like what I started doing maybe in the last 6 months is, when I'm watching TV for too long, y'all, I don't watch a lot of TV. But if I'm watching a show, if I'm watching like a Netflix series, what I do is I have the TV on the Netflix, and in front of the like not in front of the TV, but in front of me somewhere, I have my phone on, or the laptop or the iPad, whatever it is. I have it on a workout video from YouTube or the Apple subscription, fitness subscription, or whatever it is. I have a workout going while I'm watching TV. So then I'm not just sitting there and eating the whole time I'm watching TV. And then when I'm working out, even if I don't feel like working out, I smile while I'm working out. That changed my mind, my mindset. Because what if I tricked my mind into like working out? Like, what if I'm over here lifting dumbbells and it's hard, smiling while I do it, like smiling while it's hard. That's where being bitches comes into handy. You got to be brave. You got to be intentional. You got to be thankful. You got to be consistent. You got to be hopeful. You got to be enthusiastic, and you got to be smart. You got to lift those dumbbells consistently. You got to do those, whatever these called, consistently. But when you, or I think these are dumbbell curls. You got to do it consistently. But when you smile, you trick your brain into liking it. You trick your brain into eating that healthy food with a smile, into liking healthy food. It's time for us to rewire our brains, because most of us have gone through at least a decade, maybe 2 decades of time, and our mindset was completely different than what we are working for it to become. And so while we're in the transformation journey, smiling while we hit those, whatever it is, smiling while we hit those workouts, smiling while we're walking the dog, even if we know it's cold, even if we know it's hot and we don't want to do it. We got to smile through it, okay? That is a part of this transformation journey. You got to smile because at the end of the day, why not? There are enough things that make us stop smiling. So we got to be intentional in making ourselves smile. Get you a refillable water bottle and a I want to say Brita filter, but they're not sponsoring me yet. So get you a whatever water filter you need for the water taste you desire so that you can consistently drink water. Get whatever that is, okay? So you can drink the water that you need to drink because you have to drink half your body weight in ounces in water every day. And that's every day. If you want to see results with how your body is acting and how you are mentally and how you digest your food. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, but that's the general rule of thumb is walking those 10,000 steps and drinking half your body weight in ounces of water every day. So even if you change nothing else in your diet and you still eat all the junk food, don't be drinking all the soda too. If you can drink a 20-ounce soda, you can drink a 20-ounce bottle of water. Oh my gosh, it just doesn't have a taste, or I don't like the taste. It's option. They got the little things you can do to put in the water. You can put your own fruit in the water. You can put your own vegetables in the water that'll alter the taste. You can get one of the little powders and mix it in the water, but drink water. And don't do the powders a lot. Just do it every now and then so that you're not digesting extra sugar and calories as that might be counterproductive. But drinking that water is essential so that you can do what you need to do. So after you got your fitness watch charged, after you got your water bottle and your filter, be intentional and work out for at least 20 minutes a day. Like I said, I cut on my laptop or my phone. I put the phone on the selfie stick stand. And instead of me just standing there to take pictures for it, I start dancing with it. I love going to dance workouts for free on YouTube. They 20 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they got something for you. Okay. I'm not going to say an hour because I don't think I can do that. But if you can, power to you, and that's cool for you. But for me, I don't think I can do that right now because my priorities aren't just working out. My priorities aren't to take a whole hour to do it. I'm going to be consistent and intentional in the time I do have. So even if I only have 7 or 8 minutes to work out, I'm going to give it everything I have. And if I don't have everything that I have that day, I'm going to be enthusiastic with what I have. If it's 50% of I just got to move, 50% of I just got to do this, I might just do that. But I'm going to show up. Okay. And I want you to show up for yourself because the only person you're cheating if you cheat this program is yourself. I don't care one way or another if you fail this program. It's going to be you who has to live with that. If you pay for this program and you decided not to show up for yourself, that's on you, buddy. Because I'm going to show up for myself. My clients, they're going to show up for themselves. And when your coach, your pimp calls you to check up on you, you're the one who's going to have to lie. You're the one who's going to tell the truth. It doesn't matter. I want you to put in the work and you get to decide how much work you want to put in. But whatever you decide now, you have to be committed to see it through to the end of the 16 weeks because consistency is what's going to give you the results you desire. And I'm not a quitter, and neither are you. If you made it this long in this workshop, you're not a quitter. So if you can make it through this workshop where I'm just talking the whole time, you can make it through a 16-week challenge where you got to fight that voice in your head that's telling you to quit, where you got to fight those voices outside of you who always talk down on you. You got to fight those situations financially or spiritually or emotionally or in your house, whatever it is, you got to fight all of that. So you might as well show up and transform yourself in the process because this is how you don't necessarily become a superhero, you become your hero. And at the end of the day, ain't nobody going to come to save you, so you might as well save yourself. So after you work out for 20 minutes and you watch an episode of whatever it is, I want you to keep up with your remote because if it starts that next episode, they hook you in. So then you start watching the next episode. Keep up with your remote so you can exit out of it real fast. You know it's coming to the end of the episode, exit out real fast. If you got 45 minutes to watch a show, 30 minutes to watch a show, you can make 20 minutes a day to listen to a book. On YouTube, you can make 20 minutes a day to listen to a book on Headway, on Audible, whatever it is. You don't even got to finish the whole book. You just got to make time to listen to it. And speaking of listening, going into no negativity, 16 weeks of saying yes to yourself. I can do this. Yes, it's hard, but I'm like, I can do this. I want you to show up for yourself, and I want you to not insult yourself. I want you to stop referring to yourself as being broke, or stop referring to yourself as being this is stuff I called myself. Stop referring to yourself as being out of shape, depressed, or whatever. Stop referring to yourself as all of those negative labels you've given yourself. And even if you sarcastically say your affirmations. I don't care. But like, instead of saying you're broke, I'm so rich. Say that, say that sarcastically enough, then you might start saying, dang, I am rich. Then you might be thankful, like, you know what? I might not have all the money, but I haven't starved. I might not have all the money, but I have Blake, but I have. And then when you start saying, but I have, and start focusing on the but I have instead of focusing on the I don't have commas in all of my accounts. I only have one account. I have never been to multiple countries. I've never did blah blah blah. When you take all of that negativity and turn it into opposites and sarcastically say it, you start attracting those right things. You start attracting those, all right, well, money just came to me. I got a surprise check in the mail. And I want you to see all of the differences that can happen if you sarcastically be positive to yourself. And so, and all of this is a lot. Week one is the hardest week because getting started is the hardest thing to do. But once you get started, and once you say, you know what, I showed up for myself for 7 days, let me show up for seven more. And when you show up for 14 days, let me show up for 14 more. All right, when you show up for 28, let me show up for 28 more. When you show up for 52, let me show up for 52 more. Then it's 104 days that you got. And you're like, dang, I feel different on the inside and out. And that's what I want you to feel like. And so in the first week, I'm not saying the whole time, in the first week, I want you to take a fast from a food item or media or sex, masturbation, whatever it is, or not negative thoughts. That's not on here. Negative, that's an accident. Negative thoughts is, I'm firm on that. Next week you can't be negative. So take a fast from one of those three items. You're gonna give up something that's food, social media, or sexual or masturbation, whatever. You're gonna have to give up one of those three items. Okay. Ignore that it says negative thoughts at the bottom because that's a must have. Okay. I believe that is all for today. It's yep. So the next steps that we have for this program, the for this workshop, is scheduling a call with your pimp, that be it me or be it one of the pimps that's on the team, so we can develop your strategic plan. We're going to talk to you about how to create your tracking log and your measurements for growth and success, and the rules you're going to set for yourself throughout the challenge. And we want you to be lenient and kind to yourself when creating these rules. And we're going to work on you having a commitment statement. And this commitment statement, you're going to submit it to us. So in 100 days, we get to hold your before and after. Did you stand up to your commitment statement? And we're going to talk about the workbooks and calendars that are specific for the option you chose for today so that you can maximize all that you have in this challenge, all of your tools from your pimp and all of your tools that you're going to put together so that you can create the strategic plan that works for you. And I believe that's all. Yes, that's all I have for today's part of the workshop. Day 3, as I stated, is going to be you working with your pimp. And Monday, we get started. It's time. What are you waiting for? You've already waited long enough. It's time for you to become the best next version of yourself. I'm Ines, and I approve this message.